going to start with Alysia because the last time we spoke to you, of course, you had just returned from Pyeongchang and finishing up there in bronze medal position at the World Cup test event, wasn't it? So since then, you've been on a mission, and I want to hear, first of all, what inspired you, what prompted you to give this woman a call or actually send her an email?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us again. This summer has been a good one. What inspired me to call Heather was after our initial testing camp we had here in July, and some of the girls were making like groundbreaking progress, and together as a group, our unit as a team, everyone kept getting better and better. And I'm looking at all the girls that are testing, and we're putting down like some of the girls are setting records, and I'm like, we're gonna have the chances of us sending 3 sleds to the Olympics is very, like, I'm very confident in it. And I looked at the group, and Kaylee wasn't at this camp, and not a single one of us had any Olympic experience whatsoever. And like, we're a whole bunch of just like happy-go-lucky, and we have no idea what's about to come hit us, and none of us have any idea how this year is going to go. And even speaking to athletes from different sports, and they're like, the Olympic year is like no other. And I was like, well, it'd be really good if we could get someone who had some experience at that level to come back to the program. I had heard rumors about Heather coming back and not, but I had never spoken to her before, and I just thought maybe if I could offer any insight on or motivate her to come back in a different way, maybe. I don't know. I thought, well, we could really use her in any way, shape, or form based on that experience point. And so I just sent out an Instagram message.
Oh, it started on Instagram. Hey, well, yeah. It worked. Well, I should imagine this is, to quote a phrase, a marriage made in heaven, because you're both overachievers. You both come from multiple sports, and you're both sport crazy and speed hungry, I would say. You both fit all of those categories. But Heather, what did you think when you got this Instagram message and thought, who is this whippersnapper? She's only got a bronze medal in Pyeongchang at the test event, and up and coming athlete. Is this going to inspire me enough to get back in that sled? Because we should add that you've been off with injuries for a while, and it's not like you were coming back after a season off to go and do something else or recover from injury. Because the last time we spoke, you were about to go to Antarctica to climb a mountain, so you were nowhere near a sled.
No, and Antarctica was probably the only physical activity, really intense activity that I had done since Sochi. And that kind of physical activity was actually moving my body as slowly as possible. So nothing, little different. That message was, the message I got from Alysia was not who is this person? I mean, anybody who knows me actually knows that I don't really follow sports at all. Like I don't watch them. I kind of catch updates or little, things here and there. But, my attention had been drawn to Alysia this past season just because of how well she'd been doing. And then I would get kind of a message from a coach saying, oh, have you seen, ... imagine what she could do with ... just these little kind of hints, which I just, systematically kind of just dismissed, just because it was joking, it was banter, it was, whatever. It was coaches who'd become friends, like nothing overly serious. And then I had turned down an official request to come back just because I'm not motivated to come back just to compete for the sake of competing again. It's not right now with my business is about empowering other people, and as a speaker, and just having finished writing a book, and just like I now get a kick in that kind of adrenaline rush in helping other people. And so all of a sudden when I get this message, it completely converted the way that I was looking at coming back to bobsledding. Instead of just competing for the sake of competing, one, it's a challenge beyond any challenge that I've done before, which is super exciting for me, being motivated by challenges, but also just the idea that my experience and just Yeah, I guess the kind of mindset, mental toughness component that comes from experience and having competed, successfully in high performance situations before, whether it was in rugby or bobsledding or whatever. It's it was just it also just motivated me, the fact that she identified that that's what was missing. It's not just some athlete who's like, hey, I want a big push, can you come back and push me because I'm lacking. She didn't say that at all. It was more like, I have a strong team, but I know what's missing is this component. And to me, that showed a maturity that was beyond. It was refreshing. It was just a different take on it. And I was like, oh, well, oh my gosh, suddenly I'm actually considering this. And I had not even, there was no thought in my brain of coming back to bobsledding.
Well, now you guys have started the very groundwork, I guess. It'll be a little while, will it, Heather, before you get in a sled in terms of fitness?
So this all happened early on in August. And even then, I had been dealing with a back issue for all the summer, basically, since the start of June. So I had seen one of the therapists. It was so painful that I had actually flown out to Calgary to see one of the therapists in July. And so when I got this message in August, my first call was to that therapist saying, based on what you saw in terms of treating me, is there any point in me considering this? Mm-hmm. And he was just like, 100% yes. And I was like, are you sure?
100? Like 100%, not even like 95?
90, yeah, exactly. He was just like, he said, I know what you were like before. I know you haven't done anything in 3.5 years, but I also know the explosive component that you still possess. It's not an injury we're dealing with. It's alignment issues, which if we can kind of keep there and then build the strength up to match your explosiveness, then he said, you're good to go. Now, the key is the building up the strength to match the explosiveness, because if I don't do it in a very gradual way, his concern is that I will tear something. So the hardest part for me right now is being in this high performance environment with these crazy, wicked like athletes who are now pushing and they're on the ice now, and me, I'm, doing underwater, running on a treadmill and, just holding a trap bar to start gradually building the compression in my spine so it gets used to what I'm going to have to do to hit a bobsled. So for me, the frustrating part is discipline, and not
going 0 to 100.
Yeah, and not going 0 to 100 and potentially tearing something.
Yeah, we don't want that, not at this stage, right? As you say, very sad. And you have the benefit of experience, of course, of coming back after injury and making sure that you do build those blocks securely. But Alysia, just to come back to you now, and now that you've got the partner, the dream partner, I would imagine, in Heather, where are you in terms of your fitness? And, presumably you had a bit of a break off this summer. And I think I read somewhere that October is probably your favourite month because it is the start of the season again.
Yeah, you read right. October is my absolute favorite month. But we even started earlier this year. February. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. But I had a great summer to start. I actually might have done a little bit too much, but the base is there. I'm the strongest by far I've ever been, and just have to take a step back for the first couple weeks. I just am missing some of my foot speed due to some chronic fatigue, but it's under control, and I'll be back. And I have no doubt that I did a fantastic job over the last 4 years of being fast at the end of season. And I've had that program in step, and I keep telling myself fast in February is all that matters. So, really excited to work towards that. And the number one thing is this week was so great. We got to get back in the ice and do what I love to do, and that's bobsleigh. And, driving down, haven't skipped a beat. That came back instantly. So
of course, like just climbing back on the bike, isn't it?
Beaming smile on her face when she came back to the top of the track after her first run. How was it? She's like, it was great. Yeah.
So for you then, Heather, I mean, how does it feel psychologically? I mean, you've got to immerse yourself back into that culture. You're there at the Ice House in Calgary where, as you say, surrounded by high-performance athletes. And in a way, you've got to deal with that nervous apprehension, I'm sure, of having to prove yourself all over again. It's a slow immersion, I should imagine, but it's still a journey. How are you dealing with it?
It depends on the day, to be honest. I mean, it's hard being around a group of people and not being able to also take part, because you can only feel like you're part of the team up to a certain point. When you're not able to do all the grunt work that everyone's doing, and I mean, nobody loves doing the grunt work. So but to be able to stand there and not be able to help, that's a bit of a difficult part. But it's just discipline. It's the mindset. It's that just mentally knowing that I have to focus on what I need to do to be the best that I can be to help the team. And it's still a little bit surreal that I'm even back here in this environment. Like, I had put bobsledding behind me, and so to be back, in a way, it's great. It's a reunion with some people. Like Alicia was saying, that all the girls are basically new, whom I wouldn't have met before. But I mean, the guys, it's like, seeing a bunch of big little brothers maybe. But,
younger brothers, you're going to say, weren't you?
So I don't know. It's kind of a fun environment to be back into, and I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Well, we're going to follow this journey with you. So, Alicia, just tell us before you go what your typical day is like with the pair of you now, a typical training day, what it involves, and what your plan is over the next few weeks. Is there such a thing as a routine yet?
Well, not quite yet. This first week, we kind of got thrown into it really quickly, and then we actually have a race tomorrow. So our first evaluation race. So it wasn't like we got slowly into the season. It was 4 days of training race. So, a little bit all over the map. Some of the guys I'm looking down in the gym right now are lifting right now. And then we head to the track in 15 minutes and start putting runners on. And then I do a track walk. We slide 2-3 runs, and then take runners off the line, whatever we have to do. We're at the track for 5 hours for 3 minutes of work. Mm-hmm. And then cool down and therapy still on top of it. So the days went from long to extremely long, but that's okay.
And tonight we'll be race polishing runners.
Yeah, so that's another 6 hours.
Yeah.
And first time doing it in a while, so hopefully it doesn't take that long. And then we have our first evaluation race tomorrow, and then next week we're off to Whistler. So,
right.
It's go time.
It certainly is go time. So finally, Heather, can we circle back and join you both in a few weeks' time? When would be a good time to catch up with the story? Because I know we follow you on social media, but we would like to just follow the progress of this, because you're going to get to the point where it's either selection time or not. So give us an idea.
I'm sure in a few weeks. I know that the team is going to. I have to stay back. I'm not, because I'm not sliding. I don't get a free ride to Whistler, apparently. so I'm staying back here just to make sure that I'm, progressing and at a better place when they get back. So they'll be in Whistler for 2 weeks, and then Pyeongchang for 2 weeks. So they're pretty much gone for the month of October. And so we probably won't see each other till the end of October or start of November.
Yeah.
Unless we Skype.
Yeah, we can do that.
Little FaceTime. But so in terms of having us together, it probably wouldn't be until sometime in November.
That's perfect.
Unless you wanted individual updates, and then it just,
Yeah. No, why don't we plan on that? When you get back, Alicia, from Pyeongchang, we'll do this again and find out how things are going there, and I'll catch up to Heather with your fitness. By then you'll be a new woman, I'm sure, in a month's time.
I will be, Chris. I will be.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us, and lovely to know that you've got an amazing story and an amazing challenge for you, Heather. And wow, what a partner you found there, Alicia. Well done, you.
Thanks.
All right, we will speak to you in a month's time. The best of luck in Whistler and Pyeongchang, and Heather, get stronger.
Great. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Okay, bye, Chris.